Abdul Rahman. I'm a lecturer at a public university. I deliver lectures in computing and informatics. In our last session, we discussed about the Realloc function. We had seen that a Realloc function actually allocates memory into a single block and space, whereby today we are going to talk about what is the Realloc function. Into a Realloc function, we are going to go into a journey and to see what is the definition of a Realloc function, what is the syntax, and how can we implement up the same. So let us start on that particular journey. And basically here we are talking about what is actually a Realloc function. Onto that, we are saying that a Realloc function actually stands for or means that it is a reallocate memory. So basically it means reallocate memory. And onto that says it actually reallocate memory basically when the memory it is insufficient. What happened? It is actually if it is insufficient, it actually reallocates that memory which has been allocated by malloc and the calloc basically. And when that it has been reallocated, what happened? It is given up some new sizes. So it gives up a new size, and in that particular new size it can either expand or reduce in that particular memory. So it actually reallocate that particular memory, and when it is sufficient, when it was reallocated previously, then it does up the same thing. So, and when the memory fails to reallocate, basically it returns what we call up a null value or a null pointer. So basically that it is a reallocate function. It's reallocate, it is reallocating a memory which was previously allocated, and it is actually it is insufficient. So basically let's see on to the syntax of the same. So the syntax will be very simple. If we have got our p, our pointer there, and we have reallocate, so here we'll have a reallocate function, and basically we'll have our p, and we'll have up our x, where our x is actually the new size. So this will be the new size of memory. So let's take for example, so we have got our p there, and in that particular p we want we are having up a malloc function. So here we have got our malloc function as you have seen, and that particular malloc function of its size of 5 times the size of our integer. So basically this can be if we look at it on a proper manner, an integer actually contains actually our 4 bytes. So that particular 4 bytes, and here we've got the size of 5. So basically we will have 5 times 4, that will give up our 40 bytes. So we want to conceptualize the same thing. Our p basically will be having actually that particular size. So this will be our size 5 times 4. It's not, it should be 20 actually, and that will be our size. So this is actually 20. So from there, so let's see how we can reallocate the same thing. So we are using p reallocate, and we can reallocate our p and having up 10 times the size of what we call let's take for example int, so the size of int. So now in our new conceptual part of it will be very different. Here we'll have our int actually our int basically to be 4. So here we have got 10, so it will be 4 times 10. Now we are getting up 40, so we have actually reallocate to become up 40. So basically here what we'll have 40 bytes, which is 10 times 4. So from here we have seen actually we have reallocate using up the reallocate function. So let's go back to a dev C++ and try to implement actually the same and see what happens. So here basically we'll see our last code. So this was our last code whereby we talked about how we are using up the Realloc function actually to tell up a user to enter, and after entering the element we actually allocate memory here using up dynamically using up a Realloc. So if you can continue with the same from here and using up now this time we are using up what we call up a Realloc function. So onto that, here you can say printf. We are telling up the user now again. Basically we're telling up the user to enter the new size. So basically this is the part we want to tell us up the user to do back again. So we can just copy this particular part down here and say enter the number of array of the new element. So that will be our new element, and onto that particular new element we're using up scanf actually to get that particular number of our new element. So here we are telling up the user to enter the number of our new element, and then after that now we are using up the Realloc function. So here we'll have our p now to reallocate, and we want actually to typecast it. So here we'll have our int, and basically we typecast it, and then we are using up our reallocate. So reallocate, and basically according to the syntax we are putting up our p, and then after putting up our p, what are we saying? N should be n times the size of our integer. So that will reallocate on that particular area. So from here now what are we telling up the user? We want to tell up actually the user to do all these things back again. So basically we are telling up the user to do all these things back again. So we just copy that and bring it down here, and we want to tell up the user to do all those things. So basically here we are telling up the user now after entering up the new, so you say memory allocated successfully, but not using up a Realloc. Now here actually using up a Realloc. So that will be Realloc, and we are telling up the user now enter the number of array, a number of new array element. So that will be entering the number of new array element, and the number of array, now this will be also the new array entered r, so whatever we are going to enter. So basically this is the part whereby we are putting it extra in order to see if you can reallocate our previous code. So let's execute this particular code. So when we execute this particular code, we are told to enter the number of array. Let's take, for example, enter 4. So we can enter those particular number of array as 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we are told the number of array entered, they are 1, 2, 3, 4. Now enter the number of new array. So the number of new array, maybe enter as 3 this time, and we are told that memory allocation successfully using up reallocate. Now enter the three new elements of this particular new array. So here we can enter 10, we can enter 20, and basically we can enter 30. And it tells us the element of the new array are 10, 20, 30. And that comes up to the end of this particular session. Until next time, when we are going to talk about the free. And on to that particular one, however, don't forget to subscribe onto our next session. For now, I say bye.